Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Vanity Fair. My name is Chris Farah, and I'm excited to talk to you today about 90 Day Fiancé. It's before the 90 days. It's season 8. It's episode 17. Welcome to your destination. I have no guest except for the bangles on my arms. They're back and they're going to, probably talk as much as me. I'm going to tell you this. I want 90 Day Fiancé producers to take their foot off the gas a little bit. Because we're now in episode 17 of this again, season 8 of Before the 90 Days, and the stories are toggling between incredibly repetitive, like within each couple, and trying so hard to have like dramatic moments that are, falling flat and also feel like fucking deja vu and also are like, what buddies? And I really want to lean into less seasons of BS and, you know, perhaps a focus on what brought us here, which is like authentic storytelling. Why am I talking about this? This is why. A, because we're about to get a brand new season of regular 90 Day Fiancé, which is supposed to be the bread and butter. What started this, which is this format we know, 90 days, they get here, cultures, fish out of water, people coming together, finding love, who knows what's happening, dealing with families and the situations and that. I think that the other thing that happened for me is I watched Love on the Spectrum, which as a docuseries format, it feels very different from 90 Day and it feels easier or more organic sometimes. And it's funny because I want to care and be invested in couples. Like that's why we're watching this. But sometimes what feels like the heavy-handedness from the producers to make something happen is giving us like a lot of similar BS. So, and for me, nothing is more boring than like scene after scene of Forrest having to confront Molly. Like, how many times can we have that scene? How many times can we have Molly yelling at Forrest and then, like, what, Forrest stands up for himself a little bit or Sheena a little bit? It's like, this is the like sixth conversation of that. Like, I want to think that producers sit down and they're like, well, this is what happens in episode 1 of this couple, and this is what happens in episode 2. And it's like, they have to realize that they're doing the same thing over and over again. They got to know that. Is this all AI? Come on. Like, so I'm going to start with them and I'm mad. Okay. So I'm mad, but I also really need you to watch Love on the Spectrum. So if you need like a palate cleanser of like maybe a little more, what feels like a softer and or smaller and or more real and like a more nuanced idea of people coming together, Love in the Spectrum is going to give it to you. At the same time, let's start with Forrest and Sheena. I already have. And then let's move on to, Anna and Javon. And, really it's like what can be done. Okay. So with Forrest and Sheena, if you were going to move past the point that the producers decided to make it a storyline that he had never been there when the internet exists and people saw that he had been there before, that's confusing to me. Because to me, it's not like such a big thing that he either had or had not been there before. She's still not living in America. So, like, it's still before the 90 days. It just felt like an extra layer of nonsensical, not real stakes that gets found out because the internet's really big and people be doing things with time on their hands. I mean, I feel like I feel like the documentary Don't Fuck with Cats also is like we do things on the internet now. We're little sleuths, like I'm not saying we're right or wrong, and we mean the entirety of the world, but like if people have an idea and they want to find out an answer, it's like so not hard to find it out now. And it's like sucky, but true. Why? I mean, because you really can just go up and down people's social medias and then the friends of theirs, and really find out whatever the F you want. You can find out what people's ex girlfriends look like or ex boyfriends. You can find out what ex wives look like. You can find out people are married. You can find out what they've been doing. You know, People can tell you, honey, that they're an entrepreneur, but like you can really find out that, no, they, God bless, I'm trying to think of they're a task rabbit or something. I'm just saying, it's like there is the ability to find out the truth on the internet with quite easy digging. And so I really just want to challenge the producers to sort of like get that. So lean back on the laurels of like truth and reality. Okay. So here we are. Forrest and Sheena are going to be sort of, this is their single scene, have another spa moment. That's the best part, I guess. Really, I think about those hot tubs a lot in the Philippines. Basically, they get wrapped in banana leaves, kind of like thunder jackets, and then just like put out there. Now, the ladies are like, yeah, the banana leaves are really good for your skin. And so it's confusing when, yeah, Forrest and Sheena just go in fully clothed. So the banana leaves are just laying on top of their clothes, like he's wearing his trusty avocado shirt, the button down that has little baby avocados on it. So I don't know if like the banana leaf is supposed to penetrate into the avocado shirt, but here we are. Forrest is like, it became, it's really highly recommended by the hotel. I'm like, okay, well, at this point, go back to Sheena's Airbnb and do like some due diligence around that community. I mean, if you're just gonna, want to bring business. um so basically, from episodes ago, we are like, oh yeah, the lawyer said that he doesn't have enough money for her to come to America and they're in love. So he's like, well, Sheena, I think I'm going to stay here, but we got to tell Molly. And we're like, oh no, this cannot be it. Like, you've got to give us just something interesting that they have. Like, there's no drama in their lives. There's nothing. It's only Molly. It feels like they just put all of their ducks in the Molly basket, and Dev's giving hardly anything. But here we are. So it starts after they're like, we got to tell Molly that Forrest is going to stay here. It cuts to Molly yelling at Dev, like, well, we haven't heard from him, and Dev's like, oh, God bless. And then Forrest and Sheena come back from their romantic vacation and they go eat somewhere. We get a little scene of this like interesting dance that looks sort of like a fun version of Double Dutch, but then we hear that has its roots during the Spanish, colonization of the Philippines, and this dance was actually like born of the punishment that people would inflict, like from bamboos and hurting people's feet. And we're like, oh, shit. They get yummy short ribs. And then, yeah, I mean, there's another scene where Forrest gets yelled at by his mom. Okay, great. I mean, I'm, unwatchable, truly at this point, unwatchable. So that's what that happens. It's so boring. I can't. And I feel bad because I feel like Forrest and Sheena probably want people to like be on their side and probably want people to like really care about their storyline and stuff like that. And the truth of the matter is they themselves are fine people, but they have been, like Anna and Javon, given a really shoddy production that is not interesting, and it doesn't let us really engage with like any authenticity that would make us empathetic to them, which again is what feels like the opposite of Love on the Spectrum, right? Like the authenticity of the people on Love on the Spectrum, like how open they are of what they're doing and feeling, feels so real that you fall in love with them and you like want the best for them, and you're like, on their journey, even if they were just going to the supermarket, and it's like, can they make eye contact with you're just like, they're really watching someone deal with like what could be smaller things, but they are huge of importance because you care so much about these people, their wants, their dreams. And the truth of the matter is, that's just not happening here. Well, so here's the thing. Having said that, 90 Day Fiancé is coming up, and I'm excited about that. Hunt for Love is also coming up, and I feel mixed emotions, but we're going to get into, I guess, both things. At some point, if I don't want to talk about a season or something, that might happen. Because at the same time, I want to be able to give you guys like really excited and or invested, not saying always positive, but like invested in the story of whatever reality shows or docuseries I'm talking about. Like, it means a lot to me. And I don't want to like just talk about superficial things. And I can't just assign myself to bad production, boring storytelling. Like, the reason why I don't try and do Bravo shows on here, right, is because it feels really fucking fake. Bravo Real Housewives just feels so inauthentic that I just like don't have the time in my day to watch all of it, write notes, and then want to talk about it like I think that this is all real. And I'm not saying I think every moment of 90 Day Fiancé is real, but there used to be, I swear to God, semblances of truth and honesty. I mean, especially when you get to meet new people, right? And it's their stories. And like the more and more I think that they either reuse the same people, it gets just absolutely boring. And the more and more that they like in their offshoots, like before the 90 days and Love and Parrot or like Hunt for Love and all that stuff, the more that they try and manufacture what they think is going to be like, oh shit moments or talkable moments, it's it's not working. And the funny thing is, with this season of Before the 90 Days, Emma and Zayed got a lot of, like fan and or like engagement. Forrest and Sheena did early on, and probably Lisa and Daniel are like the stars of this season. And by that I mean like where they've been on almost every episode. And f- uh, for Lisa, this feels like she is authentically trying to have relations with this man and or be in love with this man, or she is obsessed with this man. And whether he is, equally and truthfully and authentically, probably not. But at least we have that. At least we have her, so here we are. So when Molly starts yelling, then we also get back to like Molly being overly into like their sex. You know what I'm saying? So Forrest was like, we bonded in more ways than one. And she's like, you had sex, didn't you? And, her and Dev like give a little like hooray for that. And it's like, okay, so yeah, we've been knowing that she, talks about sex too much. Sheena just sits there and just like takes it. You know what I'm saying? Like Molly yells at Sheena. She's been yelling at Sheena the whole time. Sheena runs away crying. Forced sort of like half Switzerland dances in between pacifying his mom and then somehow, like not just throwing Sheena to the wolf, like it's gosh. Yeah, like feels familiar, right? Can you believe it? I mean, yeah, can you believe that we haven't like hung out with her friends? Like I know she says she likes animals, but like does she have one friend? I mean, we didn't meet her mom, her sister, she's not close to. Like I'd rather see her at work. Who's her best friend at work? Is it a dog? Give me something. Like it can't, I mean, it really just it is what it is. And so got to change it up. Okay. I'm just going to move on quickly to Anna and Javon. So we haven't seen them in a long ass time. We pick up on a carnival. We're supposed to believe everything's fine now. And it's like, we're doing really good. So now we're going to have our anniversary party. And we're like, oh, okay. Who's going to pay for the anniversary party? So their anniversary party is happening. We're like, who's planning that? Who's been planning that? Where is that happening again? Who's paying for it? Who's coming? You know what I'm saying? Does he know that he's having an anniversary party? Like, remember his sister and stuff like that? Like, is he ever going to FaceTime with any of them? How, like, the sister should have been gifted a flight to fly out here. I mean, the sister was the best part with those glasses. Oh my God, he is the worst part of this. So then, my loves, after we're supposed to believe that suddenly everything is really good and we're supposed to, and I mean this, care about them. We don't. Anna, like, if you're watching this, you got a really bad edit. I mean, as like maybe, charming as you've been in certain moments, like this story has not been good. He is like boring and cynical and negative all the time. And when you guys are smiling at each other, it doesn't really feel real. I don't quite understand how you even connect. He just sort of plays at the idea of having like a wife, but he wants the wife, I guess, to Anna to like let him live easily, and at the same time it's like, oh, do you want a ring? Well, here's $50. And I think that if you're going to be someone that cares about getting married, like why get married and then yell at someone for like wanting a ring? That's the point. Then don't get married. He's like, oh, the ring means something to you. Yeah, well then, I mean, yes. Okay, I gotta pick it up. So, oh no. So basically, my loves, after this incredibly fun carnival scene, wow, what fucking joy. I mean, and then also just like being like, we're back on board, and everyone should just really be like, oh, hearts open, Care Bear stare for this couple. Then they go ring shopping, and he is cheap because we've been knowing that he's cheap the entire time. He has absolutely no money. And so I'm not quite sure why, but she says that they talked about going ring shopping. She says that he wanted to go ring shopping. He's like, I bought a ring once. It has silver in the middle. We're like, what's on the outside? Paper? I don't want to, what's on the, okay. So he's like, I got you a ring. And what had happened was he sent her money and then she bought a ring. It was under 100 and it made her finger green, which happens. So they go ring shopping. She finds a band. It's $268. And he's like, nah, I will come back for it. I just wanted to get an idea. You're already married. Buddy, if you wanted to get an idea of the ring, why didn't you, I don't know, do that over email? You're in this country, the party's supposed to happen. If you can't afford a $268 ring, who is paying for the anniversary party? It better not be her mom. She's embarrassed, she says, and we are embarrassed for her. Like, yeah. I half of me is like, maybe it's also like his personality. Maybe he is so unlikable that the producers were like, oh no, we don't know how we're gonna make this work. So we're just gonna like kind of cut them out of the majority of the season and then like pop them in here and there. And then we're like, oh yeah, okay. I swear to God, his sister better come to this anniversary party. I mean, someone that we care about, someone that we like have met before, like make something happen. Because at the same time, it's like Anna has a life here. Why aren't we seeing Anna's life more? Like, we only got the fact that she lives next to her mom and her mom sells cute snacks and she gets massages all the time. So in my mind, I'm like, she lives a fabulous life. She has friends, right? And like, like she wants, like, to me, there could be a lot more of her and him like having to deal with the fact that his like kind of shitty attitude towards life doesn't come up against what can be the joy in life, right? I would love this storyline to have been that he sort of he understands that a lot of like the negative feelings that he has is his own perception of this world, and that if he could have put himself outside of his body and enjoy being in the Philippines outside of your comfort zone, watching people live in a way that you haven't before, like not just think about the fact that you have a small dick and like no bank account all the time. Like if maybe there was a moment of Javon to like grow as a person, either like become somewhat appreciative of the things he does have, of the fact that he supposedly has found love in this world with a very beautiful, fun at times when we see her fun side lady that like supposedly loves him. could there have been any pockets of moments where we could have seen him come against that challenge? Or I don't know, like even a heart to heart with like a translator with her mom? Because his sister is a great part of the story and her mom is a great part of the story. And I think, yeah, I would love to see him have to deal with a reality of the fact that, yeah, like it's not some like weird, cynical in and out game. He feels like he's dating her, even though they're married. Did they not get married? Maybe the whole thing was we're supposed to really like have lock, stock, and barrel that they're married, but like everyone who talks about it's like you can get married online. Did he do it for like a tax write-off? I don't understand why Javon even got married to someone who he's like, I don't know if I should be able to buy her a ring. Well, oh, okay. It's kind of the same thing where I'm like, Rick, if you can't afford to have like a child in America, I mean, I don't think you can afford to like bring on, a whole grown woman who can't work, as well. And now maybe you can, I'm talking about Trish and Rick. Trish will be able to work, I guess, in 2 years, but it doesn't make logical sense to me. And it sort of feels the same way where like the insecurity that men have like is palpable and it comes out as being kind of this weird, like not wanting to take accountability of their own choices in life because if they if Javon's like, you know what, I have such a shitty personality, I am negative, I am like a black hole of energy, I suck the life out of the room, I know that, I am wildly appreciative that this person would spend more than one moment with me. I know I've treated her poorly. I know that I want to make her feel, small. I know that when I feel like I haven't made enough money or I feel broke in this world or I think about my small dick, I know that I feel bad about that. And I can see how my energy and my words, are stemming from that. And boy, I wish that I could just feel better about myself. And then people around me will have a better experience of me. Now, Rick could be like, oh, same. Um, if I felt better about myself and like either my bank account numbers or, how I moved through this world with integrity and dignity, I think that his like confidence in himself would be a more palatable thing for everyone involved. But his insecurity, makes it so he needs an escape plan because he feels like he is at the end of the day someone who can't sustain a relationship and therefore is going to need an escape, and usually an escape plan for someone who wants female companionship and knows that they're not doing enough to sustain an actual relationship will just, keep someone on the side. Options. And that's basically what I think what happens with him. So, but let's go back. So obviously with Javon and Anna, he doesn't buy the ring, like I said, and she's embarrassed. I guess that's the end of the story. So we can't move on. I mean, this is right. I mean, half of me is like, oh no, how do I make this good for you in this episode? But I think if I'm being honest, this wasn't a great episode and they really need to pick it up because this is almost the end of the season and these stories are wrapping up horribly. Okay, so don't worry, I have some choice moments. I'm getting past all the ones I can't stand now, so I can at least get to you to some, pockets of grace and joy. Don't even worry. But here we are. All right. So Rick and Trish. Because okay, so obviously we're in the middle of the scene where her dad and uncle have to literally put his whole fucking body to fire coals and be like, have a child with our daughter or leave, sir. And like Rick is tap dancing, like just like dee 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 dee. And then at one point he's like, well, have you told them it's only been a year of us talking? And I'd be like, buddy, that's kind of a long time. A year? Yeah, they've been knowing that you've been talking a year. Like, a year is a long time. A year is not like 3 months. So anyway, she's like, bitch, fuck you. They're saying now or never. You don't, you can, the good thing about this moment and the shitty thing about this moment is that Rick is only forced to do something by the pure act that other men are in the room. And it forces him to make a choice. But if the men weren't there, he wouldn't. Rick's not great. Rick's hard. Rick's a hard pill to swallow. And by that I mean I would be like, no, give me a fucking different prescription. Or I'll just die from this disease. I can't take this pill. It's like a horse pill, honey, and like I don't want to swallow it. And like it's coming back up. And I don't think it's doing any good. It's a long bit about that pill, honey. That's my either comedic flaw is that I will just, well, I'll beat a horse to death with a joke. So my love, he has the audacity to be like, her happiness is all I want. Your happiness is all you want. Your happiness is all you want. Okay. So anyway, I got to remind myself that like not all men are horrible. No, there are really lovely people. Not just people, there are bad women too. There are horrible people in this world and there are fine people in this world and there are great people in this world. And the horrible people have great moments and the great people have horrible moments. Boy, are we getting a lot of one type. And I guess like that kind of goes back to maybe the storytelling of it all is because people aren't 100% good, people aren't 100% bad, like I said. So if everything is the exact same that you're giving me about someone, that's bad writing. It's bad storytelling. You have to give us like fatal flaws. You have to give us like inside moments. You have to give us like vulnerability. And it has to be real because we can sniff it on us. We can smell it on us. It's interesting. I thought a lot about this. And you can imagine that all I do is just like have obsessive thoughts, intrusive thoughts all day long. I haven't been sleeping. Everything is fine. But let me tell you, I love theater so much, right? I love plays. And I thought about why do I like certain reality shows and why did reality shows become such a big thing and what's happening? And it's because a couple of things. Entertainment exists in the wide variety, right? And we need all types. At its core, storytelling or theater is like this sort of compulsive need to watch human behavior. We are humans wanting to watch authentic human behavior because at the end of the day, it like makes us all feel seen, validated, not alone, part of it, understanding. It gives us clarity. It gives us, perspective. It's like all of that. Now, it doesn't have to be, when I say real or authentic storytelling or whatnot, there are so many styles and tones and like really great artists of certain mediums can tell an authentic story about wants and human needs while doing it in like a hilarious way, and that would be like comedy. And comedy can be good or comedy can be bad. It's funny, like I've talked about this. So Oh Mary, right, is a very campy, funny play, quick play on Broadway. I've talked about it. If you're a theater person, you've heard of it. Cole Scola wrote this play. It's very funny. And now it's done so well, has a bunch of different people. I think maybe Maya Rudolph's in it right now. And it's going to come to LA. It's great. It's campy camp. It's campy comedy. It's, and by that, I mean, it's a highly stylized, almost like it's a farce, right? Where the laughs are coming and they're big and it looks big. It looks with the timing and everything, you can really lean into it being over the top. Now, when you watch good comedic actors do this, you will still feel empathy for the characters, even though it's not real. But because like there is the idea of how to showcase the human spirit in smart and or nuanced and or very specific and real ways, even if there's a wig and even if there's like a ha 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 a little bit, it's like the empathetic watcher will cling on to this character's desire most in their life and care so much. Now, obviously with this free play, we're seeing, like a piece of a narrative that we get to follow. And docuseries formats, we're getting people in and out. At the same time, there are story producers. So someone is assigned to Trish and Rick, and they're going through the whole thing. And they're going through, there was producers assigned to, Javon and Anna. I mean, personally, those people should be fired for Javon and Anna. I mean, if I was Anna, I would fucking sue them. Be like, yeah, you made us boring AF. I mean, or maybe that was Javon. I can't quite tell. But at the same time, I wonder if the producers were like, this is not really watchable. Let's bring back Elise. So interesting. So Trish and Rick, like he says that he wants only her happiness. And we're like, no, but okay. And then as they're driving away from her parents' house, they're going to go back for a few days before he has to leave. And she asks in the car, like, what if you change your mind about wanting to have a kid? He's like, oh, baby, I won't. If things still keep going the way they're going. And even there, I was like, oh, it feels like a threat. If things keep going the way they're going, is that your way of being like, if you do what I say? I thought it was very telling. And I think that she knew it too. She's young. So she's like, I think that she's young. So she's trying to figure out what's real. And Trish is smart. So anyway, so they get to the airport and their flight is delayed. And as we're like filming, can't quite tell if it's just one person in the like airport area with them. An hour goes by and she's like, do you love me? And he's like, yeah, baby, yeah. Another hour goes by as their flight's delayed. And then we see her grabbing his phone. And then we get him being like, yeah, she kept asking me if I really loved her. And I didn't understand why. And then she asked my phone. And then I realized, oh, shit. She saw that I like had texted my ex. So she was testing you to be like, why the fuck are you at my dad's house telling me you're going to have kids? Why are you saying you are loving me? And then why are you texting this ex? And what he had texted was this. So I guess his ex was like, you never really loved me. And he was like, some of the most beautiful moments I had was with you, which is interesting in itself because I'm like, well, he didn't even say that he loved you. That's not an answer. Some of the most beautiful moments I've had were with you. Like the moment in which you thought that your like current girlfriend was cheating on you. And so this other ex-girlfriend was like, yeah, I'll come to Colombia and I'll like have like with you. I think she's from Colombia. Can't remember where. I'm so sorry. It was like she's from like a Latin. I'm like, is it? Yeah, some South American, I believe, country. Maybe not though. But I'm just sorry. She's not from Madagascar. So anyway, God bless. So Rick's like, oh shit, I got found out. Everything was going so well, and then I fucked it up. Is what he says. Now at this point, Trish is like, I can't. She gets up and goes to the bathroom, and we're like, girl, you know this man isn't shit. He's picked so many fights with you. He keeps blaming you and like saying that you're being with your ex. Like he's disgusting. Please. When Rick has the audacity, it's like some of the most beautiful moments were with you to this person that was like, you never really loved me. And it's not an answer to that. It's so interesting because it's, of course, like one question is, why even write back? Why engage? You never really loved me. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I am in a relationship now. So I'm going to honor that one. Thank you so much. Correct answer, or block, even better answer. But no, he wants to like keep this person in his life by not giving her a straight answer that he ever loved her, because I don't think he can love anyone. I think that he's truly like a selfish person who only operates for himself because his happiness is all that he wants. And so his version is to be like, again, I've had great moments with you. And we know that those moments are in his mind sexual moments. Anyway, let's move on, my babes. Okay, so feels like we got those people done, and let's have some fun. All right, so let's move on to Elise and Joshua, which I feel like now she calls him Joshua. She's gonna go to the gym, and we're like hot in the heels of her having a whole spiraling kind of meltdown over his, well, let's talk about it. She's like, his relationship with Nat. Now she's like, I triggered because you lied about Nat. And the truth of the matter is, she is triggered because at her core, she's like, I've been taken advantage of by men. And, specifically, I, want someone who has like a financial stability about him, and Josh is not that, has never been that. It isn't going to be for Elise, wasn't for his ex that, like, complained that he didn't have enough money. He's not been having enough money for anyone, for him, for Elise, for what seems like his ex-wife and the son. Like, Josh knows that to his core, and it eats away at him, and he feels shitty about it. And then so anytime anyone actually like brings it up, he is like, he feels emasculated. And the way that Elise does it is loud and a lot. So, I mean, here's the thing. So Josh is like, yeah, he's telling his friend Chris everything that happened, and how embarrassing it was. And Chris is like, yeah, that does sound embarrassing. Also, it would be so much easier, buddy, if you could just get a job that, like, you could just adhere to, and like wouldn't try and fuck up by getting, like taking joy rides. Only because, like, if you are pushing what looks like 47 and you complain about money this much, like, might as well fucking put the beer can down, put the Vegemite can down, and then just do some due diligence. If you love boats, find a better boat job. Josh has like no responsibility in his life. Elise knows it. And Elise, instead of like taking care of herself and like, oh, that's the thing that I need and I want, is like a man that has like responsibility, integrity. I mean, I'm not saying, it seems like that's what she kind of was hinting at in the beginning. She would have to realize that this person has told her no and shown her no. Okay, so basically though, she comes back in the room and she says that she's embarrassed for last night, and then she kind of like pauses, and Chris is like, I'm sorry, is that an apology? And meanwhile, Josh has like, just a bunch of red rye bread in his mouth. Those men love carbs, God bless them. She's like, I don't know if it's an apology. So then she immediately bends over and she's like, but are we still going to the zoo? They do go to the zoo. Now, best part of the episode, honey, is that we meet Chimera. Chimera is a koala, honey, that does not like to be touched. Hands off. And at the same time, Elise looks at it and is like, oh, weird. I can't imagine that. No, hands on for me, honey. Like, meanwhile, Josh is like, we'll tell you one thing about koalas that do carry chlamydia. And we're like, all of them? Certain ones? How did they get it? And is there some really gross things happening down under that made sure that that was a known thing and that happened? And does it cross species? Is that why it's a known fact? I just don't want to think about that, but you're going to bring it up. I can't. So syphilis is the one STD that makes people go crazy, right? Like kings, like the kings in the past all had syphilis and stuff like that. Anyway, chlamydia, God bless it. Chlamydia, I mean, that gross guy got chlamydia that, dated Faith from the Philippines. I shouldn't say that. I should say STDs are a part of human life. So it's not gross. People get it or whatever, but he was gross. That's what I meant. Is chlamydia the clap? I'll tell you one thing. I think because I've had like such, like insecurity in my life, even though I've had a lot of sex, I've just not, God bless, had STDs. Like, I'm knock on wood, just have never had to deal with it. Like that's the one thing that being like so heavily Catholic indoctrinated into my soul that, like, I really, can really hardly ever enjoy, casual sex. It's like very difficult for me to say, yeah, I don't have to deal with that as much. And now that I say that, God bless, I hope I don't turn the tables. So we get to the zoo, honey, as we said, and we met the koala, who's the best part. And by the way, also like in zoo news and like animal news right now, it's like, we're coming off of Easter, and then Orthodox Easter is the next week, my babes. And in Big Bear in California, there's like brand new bald eagles. Well, here's the thing. There's this like bald eagle couple, okay? It's like a whole thing. One's named Shadow and the other one is like Jessica or something like that. I'm not quite sure. It's like a normal name and Shadow, okay? So they have a whole story and you can like follow online their stories that last year, babes, they had two eggs, two like bald eagle eggs, and those babies were like taken by predators. hmm And so this year, they had two more eggs. And so, like, the whole internet and everyone has been like, oh my God, what's going to happen with these eggs? And last weekend, one of the eggs started chirping, like, and broke forth. And so, like, that baby's out. By the time you're hearing this, the baby's out. But this whole weekend, people have been watching that baby like come out of the eggs. And I had to like learn so much. Like, so when a bird is in an egg, there is like a whole mucous membrane, and then they got to poke through the mucous membrane, right? And so once they start chirping, we realize that they've taken their first breath. Isn't that so crazy? And so then there's like of course, like the kind of like, you know, a caterpillar coming out of a cocoon. There's like the time it takes for the body of this bird to get the strength and literally experience the age to have its muscles like break through the egg. Then it's like, here I am, world. I'm coming out. Oh, it's like so Eastery. It's like so spring. It's so great. Anyway, so love animals, really feeling great about that. I mean, like Chimera, I feel like can really tell probably so many tales. I love that she loves people, but also loves that she doesn't like to be touched. And it's funny because the next little thing out of Elisa's mouth is like, it's so weird you're not touching me to Joshua, who's like still, I guess, somewhat mad at her. Because, yeah, like Elise is, and if you're hearing this, girl, your addiction to male attention is only going to hurt you in the end. I mean, literally, if you have a lot of anal sex, ha 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 ha. No, but I mean, straight up. She wants to be touched. She wants to be like, like wanted. And she definitely wants, of course, to be considered sexy. She wants men to like, bust a nut all over her. And she's going to like, showcase that with Caesar dressing later. But at the same time, it's interesting. Like, Elise has, to me, a lot of great qualities. And I want to say this because the women on this, I hate a lot of the men on the show, right? Like, I really don't like Rick and I really don't like Javon. And on the show, Elise, Lisa, and Emma have gotten a lot of internet hate. Like, not like so much more than Javon and Rick. Rick is to me like I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know what to tell you except that he scares the living hell out of me. Lisa, to me, has like some issues, right? Some challenges that she's working on, and we can talk offline of what she says those are. She did an interview and she diagnosed herself, or she said that she has bipolar disorder. That's true. And she also low-key said that she got malaria while on the trip, and that's why she shot the bed. And that's also confusing because we think of malaria as being like not just like a one-night thing. Okay. Elise gets a lot of hate online. Because she dresses the way she does, and she has a body, right? Like a super slender body, and she dresses like a certain way, and people for sure come for her the way she looks, and also the way that she presents herself, because there's like a choice. Now, she's Miami-esque, and we're led to believe that that's how they operate down there. And I will tell you, I'm going to go and I'll check it out myself, and I better get tan beforehand because I'm going to really look at a place. But Elise has really great qualities too. And these are the great qualities about Elise. She's fun. And she genuinely wants to, I think, be appreciated and loved. And to me, if you're going to be someone who accepts that like there's many different bodies in this world, and that women are allowed to express themselves in the way that they're allowed to express themselves. And if you're going to like stand on all of that, you can't be like hating on Elise 100% all the time. I have specific things, right? I'm going to be honest. I went through all of her purses. To me, those all can't be real, just purely based on the fact that the actual clothing and fabric that Elise wears is cheap. Cheap. I don't know if it's Fashion Nova. Some people say that. There's just no way that a rich lady who's going to spend what looks like $50,000 at least on purses is going to also just put on like a $12 itchy ass piece of fabric on their body. That like, never like it always is like puckered, and it's she really dresses like horribly. And that I mean cheaply. Now, she does dress like provocatively, and I don't mind it because I think it's Miami. I just wish that I could see one other side of like her wearing a different style top that isn't like pieces of like napkins where she puts her boobs in them and stuff like that. I mean, it's more so that it looks the same all the time where I'm like, give us something else, because the truth of the matter is she can wear so much. I'm like, if you had, you could be giving us like better fashion. And it's funny because let's move on to Lisa. Lisa's someone who has given us like look after look. I mean, this Lisa storyline's a banana one, like absolutely bananas, but like she really does like, change up her looks, and she really tries. And Emma also is fun. Like, sure, she has a wig. And I talk about the wig all the time. She's not a horrible person. She's just, she's absolutely Elise. She's like, and Elise is the same as, Vanya. Sorry, Varya. Is it Vanya? It's Vanya. Oh, I can't remember her name. This is my brain fog. Is the same to me as Emma. And it's a little bit the same as Darcy, right? It's just like the desperate need of love, and it's the driving force and the driving want, and you can see it in their eyes when they're not getting it, and it's heartbreaking for them. And like the fact that it really means so much, and they're either getting it or not getting it, is what makes them ultimately watchable. I don't think Rick wants love, and that's why he's not watchable. Rick wants a warm pocket, a hot pocket, a wet hot pocket that can squirt out. Like that's what Rick wants. And it gives us all the ick, Rick. So it's like not something that we like care about. Okay. So also the thing about Elise is that she is honest with her insecurity, right? Like she's not pretending to be wildly queenly, like meanly confident. She's not mean towards others. She doesn't like she's completely, to me, accountable to some of the flaws that she has. Like she gets it. Whether she is trying to fix it, I mean, I don't know. But I think the fact that she like somewhat open with some of her like craziness, it makes her watchable to me. Okay, so here we are. So after the zoo, he is like, well, she's making it up to me because Elise is going to spring for, means pay for, a 2-night stay somewhere. Now, this is hilarious. First of all, she got so mad at him for like not being able to like live by himself. And he's like, well, what have I made you pay for? You know how to put your, your hand in your pocket for anything. Except that now you're going to like pay for like what is going to be a huge kind of industrial looking mid-century, like modern mansion with like a hot tub. To me, if you're gonna like sit there and be like, she embarrassed me by saying I don't have money, and then you're also gonna let this woman pay for this, Josh, who the fuck are you? No. No, buddy. Elise, run. Elise, you could have used this money for better clothes, Elise. I mean, like, girl, I love you. No, but I don't love you, but I want the best for everyone involved. And really what I want to say is like, your discipline and your diligence for, really trying to showcase what is, a very attractive body that is highly dressable. You are doing everyone, including us, but mostly yourself, a disservice not getting like a stylist, girl. Go to fucking Neiman Marcus and get someone who's classy and just get a couple of like outfits that look like you think you are worth more than Fashion Nova. Like, please go and then like see what it feels like to have like some quality fabrics. And I wonder if there is like maybe some sort of bridge with literally feeling what it feels like to have actual quality garments and materials on you, and then sitting in that and be like, I wonder what it would feel like to also be surrounded by quality people in my life, like suitors. If Elise could get like a financially stable suit on her body, could she also find a financially stable suitor? Now, I'm not going to say you have to have like rich fabrics to like date rich men, but I think that if you play the game, I'm assuming that Elise wants to play in Miami of like dating wealthy men, I think that there's also like a, yeah, I think there's something to what I'm saying. But mostly I'm going to say this. I don't want to make it around men, even though I do think that the point of Elise is that she is man centric. If she can, if she could decenter men in her life and put the focus on herself, then she can, I would hope, dress and, with clothes of like someone who's, 35 and like doesn't need to be, in House of CB all the goddamn time. you know, Girl, like, where were you for the quiet luxury movement? Like, do you, I don't know, is any part of like how Margot Robbie dresses? Does that like that? Does that like feel good to you or something? Because I don't know. I'm not saying that Robbie always dresses well, but like, we're not seeing like the same pashmina titty shirt. Okay, so in this scene, we get a fun scene. We get a fun scene where she again is trying to make it up to him, and the way that she is doing it, which is like throwing money at him in this Airbnb, but she also is like, I'm going to cook. And her version of cooking is like a packaged Caesar salad. Nothing says, I don't care about anything more in this world than a packaged salad. Salad is the easiest thing to make. You don't cook it. You just get different things and we pour it in a bowl. Now, I guess the hard part about a good salad is a fresh dressing. But my God, if you just have a little NutriBullet, not even that, if you can just get a tall glass, my loves, and get olive oil, lemon, salt and pepper, Dijon mustard, and a little honey, then what the F are you doing with any sort of packaged dressing? Disgusting. I don't know what it is about packaged dressing. It's like the oils, the way that packaged dressings, the way that the emulsifiers come in with the oils, and the fact that the dressing ends up becoming like super shiny, to me is grotesque. And it's maybe a sensory thing, but it's like I can't eat it. I would not be able to eat it. She can't eat it either, mostly because she opens that packet of Caesar honey. And I mean, it just becomes like a full cum shot. I mean, it's all over her. I mean, she just is like jizzing it up for the cameras, but it's funny. It's lighthearted. He's into it, of course, and like this is how you can tell that Elise is fun. Like Elise wants to have a good time. And like to Josh's credit, so does he. Like he sits in that fun time every day, every night, maybe a little too long. But like you could see a scene where Anna would be like cooking for Javon maybe and like trying to be lighthearted or funny too or whatever. But Javon would just sit there the whole time being like, where at least Josh is engaging with Elise. So now she does the other thing where she's like, I got to see if this pasta is al dente, so I'm going to throw it at the wall. Now, we're like, girl, you're going to pay the fucking cleaning for this Airbnb. Could you imagine being the homeowners of this gorgeous Airbnb with like a hot tub pool and just watching just like raw pasta just being thrown at like the higher parts of your wall? I'd be like, good. That'll be $1,000. I mean, it's just, yeah. Anyway, so she also like, isn't that much of a cook. So it, like the pasta that she makes, it has a bunch of her hair in it, you know. God, I'd be like, babe, can we just order pizza? There's just not any way I would eat anything that she's cooked. Ugh. But they get into a hot tub. And now here is where a lot happens. So I had said early on that I thought it was so crazy that we had never talked about his son with her, or like hardly any, that he had talked about his son and they really don't have a lot of like what looks like personal conversations. But we get a flashback that this actually did happen, that she at one point was like, I don't know how I'm going to leave without meeting your son. And he's like, well, I don't know how you think you're going to meet my son. You're crazy. And he's like, just kidding. No, I'll let you FaceTime him. And then we get the story of how sad he is because the son's no longer with him all the time. And, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then Elise says something that, like, especially if you're a female, you're like, no. He's crying, right? Because like his family's not together and he feels like a shit person. And, you know, he really has to get his own life together. That's his own due diligence. And he would resent anyone who tried to like do it for him or help him. And the truth of the matter is you can't do it. But she says, I want to help you. No, I want to help make you feel like you're back together. You can't. You can't fix someone, fix their life, make their life better. You can't make them happy. You can't distract them. You can't wildly change someone's emotional outlook or like the responsibilities in their life. And I think there's two sides. Like, you know, there's like, this is genderless. There are a lot of people that want to save someone, right? Like if you're like, this is very 90s, but like, remember when you would say like, this is so gross, but you would be like, if it was a man, you'd be like, Captain Save-A-Ho or whatever, or like, you know, that kind of thing. And then also there on the flip side, like, and this is, I guess, heterosexual, but you know, probably at this point, whatever, same for anyone dating anyone. But it used to be this Captain Save-A-Ho thing was like obviously man toward female. But also there was like the thing where like you can't, you know, mother someone, you can't fix, you know, someone, and that'd be like something you would say to a female who like, you know, wants to like take care and overly mother or whatever. And that is honestly something I have dealt with too. Because I think that sometimes you want to fix someone, and sometimes people just want to have you hear them. And sometimes there is no fixing. And sometimes, like, the idea that you have the power to do so almost further separates the person from you. Because if you have that power, that means they don't. And like the scales are off. It's not even true. They do have the power. They actually are the only ones that have the power to fix their own lives, right? You can't do it for anyone. But it's funny because if he already feels less than, if he already feels emasculated, if he already feels whatever he says, to have her be like, I want to be the one that actually helps you fix your life, then it really goes to show that like she thinks she can, which she can't, and that she thinks that he can't, which that's true. It's like the psychology of that is interesting to me, right? Anyway, so, you know, don't do it, girl. Don't do it, girl. Like that TikTok. Okay. So let's move on to Laura and Beer Can. So he is sitting, honey, pensively by the water. I mean, existentially having a fucking full-on crisis. I'm still here is what he says, which for any Sondheim Follies fan or for any person who's ever seen Postcards from the Edge. Mm-hmm. 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 Good times and bum times, I've seen them all, and my dear, I'm still here. And that is what that made me feel like, so hardcore. Yes, for my non-musical theater nerds, God bless you. I hope that you've had full lives. There is like this great song, like I said, from Sondheim's Follies, which is a weird ass musical. But for some reason, that one weird ass musical has a bunch of great songs. I'm Still Here is one of them. Broadway Baby is one of them. Who's That Woman? Great. There's so many great songs from Follies, right? Kind of like Godspell. You're like, what a weird play, but what great music. Anyway, and then for the movie Postcards from the Edge with Meryl Streep, where, you know, she's Carrie Fisher in the movie. Please go watch it if you, I know you've already watched it because I know my target demographic is people like me and older my age. God bless. One of the best scenes is, Shirley MacLaine at like a fancy party singing that song in a like to a piano. And it's surely a song of survival. And it's a song about age. And it's a song about like being that kind of like you cannot fucking keep a good person down, that like I'm just going to keep going like a Terminator, like whatever's happened, I've been like dealt whatever cards, you just cannot stop me. And alone, that sentiment is it's such an awesome, hopeful sentiment. Because I think that, sometimes when bad things happen, right? Like, and surely we've had them, there's this idea of like, what now or what next, or will I come back from this? And the truth of the matter is, and I mean this, there is nothing that you cannot come back from. Because like there's a resilience in the human spirit, it's like built into like DNA code. And so when we see people that just keep chugging along, they just keep going, it's inspirational because it speaks to a part of us that like we want for ourselves, which is at the end of the day to operate in a way that is self-survival because you love yourself and because this is it. And like nothing can take away that from you. You can't, the world, no one, no certain experience or situation can take away your power or can take away your life force or can take away whatever your magic, your light, whatever it is. And if you have the kind of spirit that just fucking keeps going, then it's like instilled in you. That's why I love the song I'm Still Here. It's such a great song. Anyway, but here we are. Birkan's, he's still there. And then, Laura, comes up. And at this point, I'm like, Laura, are you wearing white eyeliner? It looks like she's like, just like for some reason doing like a full like Trixie Mattel, just like white eyeliner moment just right there, honey. Okay. So, he's hot on the heels of this like Michael thing where Michael was like, why are you such a bitchy bitch to me? And Beer Khan's like, why are you in love with my woman? And Michael's like, oh, what? No, 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 no. I'm not in love with her. What made you think that? And Michael's like, her? You? I mean, you being here and mostly her? And Michael was like, oh, no, buddy, she liked me. And of course, Beer Khan hears that and feels, betrayed by that. Now, some of these things he says were like, all right, buddy. So he's like, she lied. She lied to me about this. I can't believe it. If she lies about this, what is she going to lie about? We're like, buddy, well, $50,000 in debt. I mean, was that a lie? Or was that something you just didn't tell her? I mean, it's a lot. So when she shows up, she is upset that this piece of information has been found out. And it feels like she's upset about it because it tears down like the fantasy that she has had, which feels like Laura's whole journey was like a sort of toxic need to feel wanted by creating the somewhat literary, love triangle that we've been knowing from, especially if you're, like me, a Chekhov lover, that she is at the center of two men fighting over her. Now, she's not the first person to want that, she's not the first person to enjoy like people, like fighting over like her and wanting like wild displays of, lust and love and whatnot. And to sort of feel like a tinge of, I'm a commodity, a wanted commodity because, I'm creating turmoil for other people in my life. To think that, at the same time, it's not just her. It's like, I think kind of like, remember how Javon kept being like with Anna, like, you're getting too comfortable. Like, I want you to think that I can just cheat on you at any time. It's kind of like that, where you're just like, you want to destabilize the other person in your relationship to not feel secure with you. Why? Obvious reasons, because you don't feel secure, or because this kind of need to feel like uh jealousy is like a loud enough feeling that sort of like takes away what is like actual human connection and love. Does that make sense? It's like, and it's also like playing at the idea of something. Like Laura really wanted to create like a triangle with her in the middle where like Birkan and Michael will be like, you, and she can be like, it's just so hard. My pickleball loving BFF and my, tall, dark, mysterious person in debt, like what picks and which one am I going to choose? And it isn't that, right? Like Michael's like, oh, I didn't want her. No, she literally threw herself at me. And I was like, absolutely no. This is a confusing thing. And I want to give Laura some grace because Laura says it this way. Laura says that they were drinking and they were on the couch. And she says that they were laying on top of each other and that she went in for a kiss. I want to be like, Michael, was she laying on top of you? Because the truth of the matter is she's like, I think you're in love with me. The way she says it is this. So let me go back. So, okay. So I'm so sorry. She has a conversation with Beer Can where he's sitting by the river and he tells her what what he found out and she's upset and he's like, I wish I never met you. And she's like, oh, well, I'm going to leave. And he's like, good. Okay, leave. And then she's like, oh, so she goes to Michael and she's like, what'd you tell him that for? Michael's like, oh, I'm sorry, the truth. And she's like, well, why'd you say it like that? I thought you said the truth because I think that you did it to sabotage my relationship because you love me so much. And he's like, oh my God, no, I don't love you like that. Now I have to say it to your face. How awkward. And she's like, well, he's not the only person that thinks that you're in love with me, which is like, yeah, I get that you think I'm in love with you. And here's the thing. She could be like, well, you came here. And he's like, yeah, because the producers told me to. Also because, you kept telling me that you didn't know what was happening and he might be like really fucking you up and you have no one else in your life but me, your BFF. And so you used what, like my friendliness and like my, like, you like stirred me up with feelings of you not being safe and you like needing a second opinion and then told him that it's like this guy just wants to come. I don't know why he wants to come. Like Laura's caught in this and it's not a good look for Laura. Laura, God bless, has gone through a health journey and she's lost a bunch of weight. And I understand that. Viscerally, you can be on my YouTube channel, look back, my loves. I understand that. And so this is my now expert opinion of someone who has lost like over 120 pounds and spent most of their life bigger. And if you like, there's a lot of people who met me in the past 5 years where if they see a picture of me from like 10 years ago, they are like, who is that? And I'm like, well, it takes all kinds to make a world. And you never know where someone goes and where they're going to come from. Laura, it seems like she had lived a life where she wanted a sort of romance that she only saw in fairy tales and stuff. And I think that also when you feel insecure, there's a way where you maybe think that everyone's having that. Like everyone has like romance in that kind of way. And maybe, I know that there are definitely people that have people fighting over them. That's a true thing. And I think that Laura secretly has wanted to feel wildly wanted, wildly sexually, like irresistible, wildly hot, attractive, and or like, just like needed by men that for her own self-esteem, she like tried to concoct that storyline. And it's like disintegrating in front of her. And at this point now, the streets of 90 Day Fiancé know that her and Michael are not friends anymore. And she has like levied, like angry accusations at him. And for some reason, he's really good friends, I think, with Molly. I don't even understand why. I don't know if that happened before. It's like, I think this is all going to come out during the tell-all or after the tell-all, but it's really confusing. So, Michael's, yeah, I'm so sorry if I don't love you. Thought I had made that clear then. And now that I realize that like you tried to make it seem like I was in love with you Michael has to maybe do some accountability of what he has done to lead Laura on. Because Michael seems to be wildly, at least emotionally invested in Laura. And I think that there's like a part of a human that also has to be like accountable to this. If you are best friends with someone and you know that they've gone on like a journey of themselves, of like loving themselves or not loving themselves based on the way they look, and Michael has, definitely been open about some vulnerabilities he has because of, ways that he looks. Like these are two people that, feel a certain way and, I think have also felt like rejection. Then he has to have the sensitivity that if a year ago, if Laura tried to kiss him, then for him to be so emotionally invested in Laura a year later is fucking with her. Why is Michael fucking with her? If Michael doesn't love Laura romantically, why is Michael fucking with Laura like he does? And he could be like, no, I'm just a really good guy. And that was my really good friend. And it's like, psychologically, this woman has tried to kiss you. You are getting something, Michael, from being around someone like Laura, who in the back of your mind, you're like, she wants me. And it makes you feel good because I think there are times in which you don't feel like women want you. So you've kept Laura, you'll go play pickleball or you'll get drunk with Laura and then just like watch her look at you and, with like wanting eyes. And then you'll probably go home and be like, well, at least I have Laura. And is that right? I think that we all know like there's like the subtle emotional energy that you are giving off. And it's the same reason why Beercon's mad at Laura. Laura could be like, I don't understand why you're mad at me. I tried to kiss him a year ago. It's not a big deal. And Beercon's like, no, your emotional energy was that you wanted him a year ago. You weren't honest about it. Right? Just like Rick's emotional energy with Rick's ex was that when Rick's ex texted him while at Trisha's dad's home, that he never really loved her. His emotional, energetic response to her was disrespectful, was not right. And he knew it. Right? It's the same. Michael, what the fuck are you doing with Laura then? She's not wrong when she's like, why are you here? Now, I think that she knows two things. I think that it's an unclear situation. I think that she wants him to love her. I think that she was given a mixed signal. And instead of like clarifying that for herself in like an emotional, responsible way, she was like only too happy to facilitate this love triangle that ends up making her look bad and somehow making BeerCon look good. So anyway, God bless. So so then basically she's like, okay, well, I don't know what to do. I'm going to call BeerCon. And so she does. And she's like, hi, can we talk? And he's like, no. And she's like, okay, well, can I come back to the Airbnb that I'm paying for? And he's like, no. No, I want some space. She's like, oh, okay. We were led to believe that she's paying, right? For their place to live. Now, me and you, we're gonna be like, this conversation makes me feel like no production is. Because I cannot imagine a space between this earth and the next where I am paying for an Airbnb and I get in a fight with someone who lives in that country, who tells me I can't go back to the place I'm paying for in a foreign country. Nobody, you leave. If you don't want to talk to me, that's your choice. Pack your bags and go to one of your shisha friends' homes, smoke it all night and gamble, buddy. Anyway, weird. To me, weird, and I can't condone it. Okay, so let's move on to, what do we have? I think we have Lisa and Daniel left. My goodness gracious. Yeah, I've talked about them. Okay, yeah, we have. Oh, Lisa and Daniel. Guess what, honey? It's the morning of her leaving, and Lisa is back to Lisa is back to business. Lisa's back to square one, where she has rid herself of all the lies and she's back to having someone devour her, except that it's his penis devouring her vagina. And really, what she wants, come close, because you don't want me to say it twice, so you're going to hear it once. She wants him to go down on her and eat every morsel of. That's what she wants devoured. She wants downstairs eaten up, honey. I mean, like it's a packaged Caesar dressing salad. She wants it all over his face. Ew, Chris, stop it. That's not my fault. So anyway, so it's not my fault. Okay, so it is. So she wakes up and she's like, "Babe, you did it. You really, you know, gave me what I wanted with the dick and everything. But here's something else. You promised me that you would go down on me." And he's like, "Oh, I know I said that, but I don't do it." Then he says a whole bunch of things. A, I don't like to do it. I don't do it. B, I don't know how to do it. And then he says, and I believe that. And then he says, I'm a guy, I can only give her what I got, my dick. But he also says that she's gone down on him. And I want to be like, well, all you have is your dick, then all that she has is, her vagina, because you both definitely have mouths and tongues attached. I don't know why I said mouths like that. I hate what I'm talking about. Anyway, he doesn't want to go down on her. And you know what? I'm very happy that she was like, oh no, I require it. It's part of the requirements for riding this ride. You have to be above 52 inches or whatever most roller coasters say. And you have to eat the box. Hungrily, you better enjoy it. And on a timely fucking basis. When Lisa stands up for herself, it's the best parts, besides the fact that she really can dress herself. Okay. So then she does this. So great. She's like, here's the thing. If I'm going to get back to America, I'm going to have to use the money that I've been spending. I don't know, send you clothes money to pay for a lawyer and immigration. Da, 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 da. She's like, so hear me when I say that I will not be able to send you any more money, because every penny that I have is going towards immigration when you're getting to America. And his face is not amused. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. You can tell me that I'm not going to, you won't be able to send any money. But what I'm telling you is I'm still going to ask and you have to send it to me. It really is a conversation where she's like, I won't be able to send you anything else for money, so stop asking. And he's like, yes, but I'm going to keep asking and please send it to me. And then I don't know how they decide to end that conversation. It feels like both of them just say their point, and then she's like, okay, well, I'm going to showcase that I definitely know how to put that hat wrap on now. I mean, she gets in full regalia. Meanwhile, he gets in a shirt that says, I have a wife, so, please keep away. She started not being able to wrap her hair up, honey. And I mean, she is now doing full fucking what looks like roses. Is this one piece or did she wrap it this way? Good for her. I'm going to give her some grace. Also here, so when they go to the airport, he cries. She cries for sure. He cries. We're like, oh my gosh, he's crying. And then he says, yeah, I hope she doesn't change her mind. She can get back there and change her mind about getting me the visa. And we're like, oh yeah, Daniel, okay. Because this is not something you say. If you're crying over someone leaving, I'm going to miss her so much. I don't want to see her again. I love her. I've just enjoyed being with her so much. Like her smells, her tastes, like when she even pooped the bed, I missed it. I loved it so much. I can't stand being without it. I'm crying because my soulmate's leaving. Yeah. He's like, I'm just crying because what if she changes her mind about the visa, not the marriage, not her life with you, the visa. Yeah, he's just like, I just love that she's doing that for me, so I don't have to do it for myself. I love that she's getting me to America, so I don't have to worry about it. I love that for her and me. That's why I like her, that she does this one thing for me. Whew, it's hard. It's hard to hear, It's hard to watch, but it's easy to talk about. Babes, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for letting me talk at you. Please give this podcast 5 stars if you have not yet, and like a helpful review. Even if you're like, this one episode, Chris was mad about it. But you know what? Am I being truthful with you? I have to be. It's part of my brand. But also because I want to experience joy with you. And so I really want there to be like good storytelling for us to do this journey together. At the same time, Single Life is happening. At the same time, of course, 90 Day Fiancé comes back in May, regular 90 Day Fiancé and Hunt for Love. The cast has been somewhat announced. You can go to my socials if you want to see me give you like first reactions to both. I am at Chris L. Farah on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I have a Patreon. Please go join my Patreon right now. I'm going to do the Love and the Spectrum episodes for Patreon only. It's my first Patreon exclusive. So season 4 of Love on the Spectrum will be all behind the Patreon wall except for episodes 1 and 2. 1 will be on my RSS feed with a collab with Psych Legal Pop. Episode 2 will be on their feed, Psych Legal Pop's RSS feed, and then the rest of the episodes will be in my Patreon. Chris Farah's Patreon, Chris Farah Substack, Chris Farah on Facebook. Vanity Farah is the group on Facebook. I feel like I gave you a lot of information, but I appreciate you listening. And at the same time, we're going to close how we always do, 2 breaths and on our way. All right. Oh, what a great day to give yourself the gift of like a present moment, because no one will be able to take it away from you. And maybe we can have like a beer con mantra, because in this present moment, we are here. Put your hand on your heart. Wherever you were before, you're not there. You're here. You've made it. So stop thinking about the past. It's happened. In the future, you're not there, honey. Where are you? Here, presently. I'm here. It's where your heart is. It's where your heart's beating. It's where your breath is found. It's what's real. This is what is. So if you get lost in your head or you get lost worrying, this is a great authentic place that this is what it is. So you can hold your heart, you can feel the beat of it, you can like feel the rise and fall of your chest. You can hear my voice. If you're listening on a podcast, that's what's happening right now, or on a YouTube right now. You're listening to this stream of conscious weird lady talk about 90 Day Fiancé. But we're going to share this moment where we both breathe and we're like, yeah, we did it. And this is all that's required of us. Okay? I'm here. I'm still here. All right, babes. Listen to the song if you haven't. Just look it up. I'm still here. Sondheim's Follies. All right. Take care of yourselves and one another. Stand up for what you believe. Make art, and we'll talk later. Bye.